yesterday I had a poll on Twitter in which I asked you about if I should make a series on explaining my loser and what I could have done better to prevent those losses. So yeah, here it is. Alright, so let's start with the trade first. Okay, so here is the 4-hour chart on Euro USD, right? We can clearly see that market traded this high, then it continued going lower. Here is a tap into a bearish order block, continuation later. This shows that the order flow is clearly bearish, right? And we see a rejection here as well from this order block. Price got into this internal range liquidity. Price got into this internal range liquidity, and it was good to go for this liquidity down there, right? So my bias came from this chart right here, seeing the order flow on this chart, on this 4-hour chart, seeing how the bearish period areas are being respected, right? So this was my bias time frame, the 4-hour chart. This is where I got my bias from. Moving on into the M15 chart, I used the M15 chart for confirmation of the bias, right, with the structure. So we can see that market traded this high, made a market structure shift, got into this order block, then rejection lower, and you can see got into a fair value gap, rejection lower, read a short-term high, then moved lower, right? So this right here, this is like my picture perfect model, right? A market structure shift, red on a high, rejection lower, right? So that suggests that the structure is bearish. Okay, so I got my bias from the 4-hour chart. I confirmed it on the M15 chart, and then I go into the M1 chart to execute, right? So going into the M1 chart right here, this is that red on M15 short-term high. You can see that we have a clear bearish order flow after that. Market retraced, right? Rated this high, got into this rejection block, right? And then a change in state of delivery right here, a red on a short-term high, break lower. So this is like, as I said, like a picture perfect textbook model, like my model, right? I get in a short position right here with my stop loss at this order block right here, body, and I target 2R, right? So this was pretty much the trade, and then you can see market comes lower and then starts to consolidate again, and then after that it goes into the stop loss. So you can see that it amazingly rejects lower from this order block. Then this is where it starts to get a bit disgusting. It gets into consolidation, right, which really messes up my mind, as it does of everyone, right? So this is the trade. Technically there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, there are quite a few problems that I'm going to discuss now, and I could have prevented this loss somehow, right? So let's go into the problems and what are the problems of this trade. So before moving further into the explanation, I want to tell you about this website. So this is kind of really cool website for traders, and you can see this is like the front page, and we have all these different markets, right? The indices markets, the stock markets, the commodities, and it shows you its daily trend, etc., right? So it tells you the change in it. So kind of pretty cool. But what's amazing about this thing is this right here, these AI signals. It's kind of something keeping up with the latest AI trend. So if I click this, we go into this right here. Now there are a lot of strategies going on right here that gives signals, that gives like AI signals, but not all of them are worth following. So if you look at this right here, it says ranking. This is the weekly rankings, and there are different strategies. So this one has given like 796 pips this week. This one has given like 500 pips this week, right? So the as well as the weekly chart, we have this monthly, right? So it shows you which which strategy is profitable, or which one performed the best in 1 month duration. Here is annual, right? So now if I like, let's say I click on this one right here, it gets me to this page. So you can subscribe to it and you will receive all the notifications. You can see it has made 781 pips right here. So kind of pretty cool. So you can check this out. Apart from that, it has an economic calendar, which is a very amazing and beautiful UI. So you can see that it's a modern UI, and it shows you every single news that happens on the day. It is pretty detailed, right? So you can kind of see, you can check every single day like this. You can go to the next week and see if there are any news, etc. So yeah, let's get back into the video. So right here, the Asian range is the first problem right here. So usually we have consolidation in the Asian range. Then market mostly manipulates in the London Open, and then creating the high or low of the day, and then continuation later in the NY session. But right here, this is the Asian session right here. You can see that this is the start of the Asian session, this is the ending of the Asian session, and this is after the 12 a.m. price action, and this is where the London session starts. So before the London session starts, we have a range of 29 pips, which is a lot, and we shouldn't be seeing that. Okay, so usually when one session expands too much, okay, the next session we have consolidation, right? So this is the beginning of the London session, and this is the ending of the London session, and we can clearly see that it was in a consolidation. So if I had looked into the Asian session, I could have prevented this loss. I shouldn't have taken this trade at all. Okay, so this is something that I am gonna keep in my mind before taking trades, right? So this goes into my rules from now on. Okay, now moving forward to the second problem. Okay, here it is, Euro GBP. So you guys might not look into Euro GBP, right? But it is quite important actually. It tells you which pair is gonna trend and which pair is most likely gonna be weaker, right, or stronger. So right here we can see that this is Euro GBP. This takes out the previous week's low, and then price gets into this rejection block, and price then continues higher in the London session, right? This is what I missed actually. If I had looked into it, if I had looked into it, I will definitely have preferred trading GBP or Euro USD, but I didn't give it a glance, which is a problem, and I am not gonna miss it the next time I trade. Okay, so this is quite important. When Euro GBP is going higher, that means that if you are looking for shorts, GBP is the weaker one. Okay, so you should be trading GBP rather than Euro USD. Okay, and if you are looking for longs and Euro GBP is bullish, you are supposed to look for longs in Euro rather than GBP, because that suggests that Euro is relatively more stronger than GBP, and that means that it's going to be more directional than GBP. So something to look into, and I will keep this in my mind before getting into a position. Now look at the GBP chart right here. Okay, this is that same time in which I executed on Euro USD, right? So price rates a high, a short-term high, moves lower, and here is the fair value gap, and I think it touches the order block as well, and then clean rejection down there. So this was trending downwards while Euro USD was consolidating, and the reason behind that is clearly Euro GBP. We can see how it is trending up. So this going up suggests that GBP is gonna be weaker, and we can clearly see that on the charts right here. So these are actually the few things that went wrong with this trade that I took, okay, and I will not be doing it again, okay. I took this trade on my public challenge, the 100k, and I took this loser. So now after taking one trade, after taking three trades, the first one was a winner and the last two were losers, okay. So now I sit at break even on the challenge, and if you want me to make such a video of the previous trade that I lost, I can make that. Let me know. Till then, goodbye.